The Night Sentinels were left in limbo at the end of Doom Eternal, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen to them next in the Doom timeline. But today I'm going to give you my theories, thoughts, and ideas about what happens to them next. Before we get into it, I'm going to give you all a quick reminder to like, comment, subscribe, and BFG blast that notification bell to see more from me. And with that out of the way, let's talk about the Night Sentinels, because as a lot of you know, they were left in a pretty bad way at the end of Doom Eternal. Their leader, the Khan Maker, was dead, and the two candidates to take over for the Khan Maker were either considered heretics in the case of the Slayer, or literally just a ghost in the case of King Novik. Of course, before the Maker took over, King Novik was in charge, and even as she took over, he led the resistance against her, with the support of some of the best Sentinel Warriors, including the Slayer himself. Firstly, I'm going to strike off what seems to me like the obvious cop-out answer, that being the collapse of the Night Sentinels. Although yes, I would expect some small groups of ex-Sentinels to splinter off and do their own thing, and maybe even a single larger group, I expect that the vast majority of them would wish to restore and rebuild their society the way it was before the Maker died. The second answer I'm going to strike off is that a new Sentinel leader comes out of nowhere and or from the pool of remaining ex-Sentinels. I say this because the obvious choices for leaders, the Deegs, are already dead, and as stated in the Codex, Sentinel lore says that their strongest warrior becomes their king/leader. I'm also going to strike off another faction picking them up as a sub-faction, as this would make no sense and wouldn't really follow the lore of the Night Sentinels at all, unless that faction was extremely heavily militarized and very much warrior-centric just like they are. If such a faction was to come to exist in the next Doom game, it would be completely out of left field, as no such faction has been teased in Doom Eternal. In fact, no faction has been teased in Doom Eternal, the way the Sentinels themselves were in Doom 2016. This leaves two real options for the next Sentinel leader, neither of which are an obvious choice at face value. The two remaining options are the Slayer himself as the strongest warrior of the Night Sentinels, and King Novik as former and technically reigning king and overall badass, who even the Slayer kneels to. Both options have some pretty serious merits to them, but also some pretty serious flaws. The Slayer is by far and away the strongest warrior of the Night Sentinels, even being so powerful as to be capable of wielding the Crucible at its full potential, which only a true king-level Sentinel warrior can. This gives him, by Sentinel lore, the right to be the next king, following on from King Novik. King Novik himself, on the other hand, is the rightful ruler, as he is capable of leadership even in his non-physical form, and he still has the respect of the last known remaining loyalist Sentinel warrior, Flynn the Great Slayer Taggart. On the other hand, each of them doesn't quite fit the Sentinel code for choosing a new leader. The Slayer doesn't fit because he's technically a traitor. Although King Novik has given the Slayer his re-blessing at the end of Doom Eternal, he's still committed a heretical crime in killing D. Grav on Sentinel Prime. Even though King Novik considers the Slayer redeemed, I do not believe that the other Sentinels would just take Novik's word on it and ignore the killing. Therefore, the Slayer cannot become the new leader through Strongest Warrior. However, King Novik, on the other hand, is in no position to reclaim his throne through trial by combat. However, he was already king. This is important because he can claim his right to the throne as reigning king of the Loyalist Sentinels, some of whom could still be alive in hell. It is possible that Novik sends the Slayer to recover as many surviving Loyalist Sentinels as he can, reforming maybe a squadron of elite warriors to help him reclaim his position atop the ranks. If, like the Deegs, he is allowed a champion to defend his position, I would bet that he chooses the Slayer, a most capable warrior well above the ability found in even the most elite Sentinels. Whether this is exactly how he does it or not is up for debate, but I would be willing to bet that Novik is the leader they default back to. Whether he holds the position or hands it off to the Slayer is also a good question. Alternatively, since the Slayer doesn't speak, he could hand it off to one of the loyalist Sentinel warriors that the Slayer brings back from Hell, if there are any. This would make for an interesting dynamic, as the Slayer is most certainly the stronger warrior, and probably tactically superior. However, since he doesn't speak, he loses the chance to lead en masse, though he might still have a squad. Assuming that King Novik does retain his position at the top of the Sentinel ranks instead of handing it off, it's also pretty safe to assume he would either recover or train some elite warriors to form his Praetorian Guard, while sending the Slayer, his best warrior, out on dangerous missions to Hell to recover more warriors, or at least their corpses, among other things including destroying Hell's biggest, baddest demons. I think that an early part of the next Doom game will include at least one mission based around reforming and rebuilding the Night Sentinels, restoring their former glory as a society of righteous warriors. We may even see some of this in a DLC for Doom Eternal, however I do not know of anything confirmed about this yet, and I don't know that it will even happen, let alone when. Thank you all so much for watching. It has been a great pleasure having your attention and time. I give my most sincere thanks to all of my viewers. You mean the world to me, and you're the only reason I keep uploading. I have to give a special mention to Magnola Ricardo, I hope I pronounced that correctly, as she comments on almost all of my videos and often has good points about the video or ideas on what video to do next. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and glory kill that bell icon to see more from me, because I have been your host, Vert343, and I am now signing off. Peace out, gentlemen.